It's like the news, but for nerds. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Nerdvengers, what is up? It is Josh, and this is your nerdy news rundown for Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. A couple of cool nerdy stories for you today. We want to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, giving some cool details, seemingly teasing interesting new things for the Kenobi series, and possibly confirming some of the rumors we've heard about that. But first, let's begin with actor David Harbour's social media post making a bit of news, teasing out some interesting things for the Black Widow movie. I'm reading here from an article on The Direct. It says here, Black Widow star David Harbour took to Instagram to share his recently released poster for the movie. In the caption, Harbour included the following message teasing a possible arrival of Winter Guard characters Ursa, Crimson Dynamo, and Sputnik in Black Widow. Here's the post here, and you can see down there it says Ursa, Yelena, Nat, CD, Sputnik, and I, and all the rest of the Winter Guard look forward to sharing popcorn bag and a big old screen in a dark theater with you on July 9th.
No way!
Now, there have actually been a lot of rumors over the past couple of years leading into Black Widow finally coming out there, in which some of these characters have been teased, and it's interesting to hear David Harbour teasing them out once again. Ursa Major is definitely one of those characters that has seemingly been teased, and here's even an image of the sort of bear person, possibly representing someone like Ursa, being on the desk of someone within the Black Widow trailer. And in fact, over a year ago, one of the Nerdvengers themselves, Stormy, wrote an article on thedenofnerds.com that we unfortunately never published. My bad on that, Stormy. And in that article, he talked about how a Dutch actor was literally teasing out the possibility of them being Ursa in the Black Widow movie. I want to read to you some of the research that Stormy did from his article in 2018. Stormy wrote back then, but with no doubt the biggest piece of evidence for the Winter Guard comes from an actor called Oliver Richards, or the Dutch Giant as he calls himself. On December the 3rd, the actor confirmed on his Instagram that he was cast in the Black Widow movie, and the special thing about his casting is the official casting photo. If you look at his body, you'll see that he is growing bear fur over half of his body, and he is in mid-transformation. The actor has also said a few things on social media, and when the first trailer dropped, he posted on Instagram, "I wonder who is smashing that door," referring to the steel door exploding in some of the early Black Widow trailers, and there seemed to be Red Guardian who was smashing at the door, but he seemed to comment that it may not be him. And in January of 2019, the Dutch Giant had a Q&A with a Dutch news website, and the interviewer asked him more about the character. Roughly translated, this is what he said. The character is more than what is just being said on IMDb. Let me give a clue. The IMDb page says that I'm just an inmate in the Gulag prison, but it's really a lot more than that. Haha, I get a name, and fans of the comics will know that I'm more than just a prisoner. He later followed up on that. When I was on set, the director and screenwriter were so enthusiastic about my character that they asked Oliver, your character is really good, or too good to be true. Can you stay a couple of weeks longer? I immediately said yes. So on set, they added a couple more pages to my role. They also changed the name of the character for "You Know More in the Future." And he went on to say in a later interview, my character isn't only for the Black Widow movie, so it can be that I show up in later Marvel project. So firstly, shout out to Stormer for totally being on top of that back in the day. And it does seem like the Dutch Giant will indeed be playing Ursa Major in the Black Widow movie. This is kind of a cool update being teased again by David Harbour. Now, there's all sorts of stuff that we could get into with this. It would be dope if they continued Winter Guard and maybe had a new Winter Guard or some new guard of the Winter Guard going forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think there's plenty of room for all sorts of cool teams, but frankly, this was a cool little tease from David Harbour backed up by some research that one of the Nerdvengers did over a year ago, and it's just wild to see all of this stuff finally come into fruition. So shout out to Stormy, shout out to the Nerdvengers, and we're pretty excited about that Black Widow movie. Can't wait to see some of the Winter Guard. I'm hoping for Crimson Dynamo as well. Russian Iron Man seems pretty fun. And now let's shift gears into Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's right. Ewan McGregor himself was on the Jimmy Kimmel Live last night and was seemingly buzzing in or doing his Skype call from the set of the Kenobi show. And of course, Jimmy asked him a couple of different Star Wars questions, and we want to play a little bit of that clip for you right here.
I'm on set. I'm sort of in the studio where we're shooting the Star Wars series. So
Great. Pick up the computer and carry it around and show us everything. Did you guys celebrate May the 4th last week on set?
Yes. I got a very special. I got to play a very special scene on May the 4th.
Oh.
With someone very special in my life, and that's all I can tell you about it.
Is this
Nice.
someone special that we've seen you on camera with before?
No.
Never. Ooh,
I don't think
interesting.
so.
Now, there's a couple of important things to sort of pull out from there. I think the overall tone is that obviously Darth Vader is in the show just from the way that, I mean, not only has it been announced, right, that Hayden Christensen's going to be in there, but the fact that they say Darth Vader and Ewan's getting all weird about it, there are a lot of rumors that we'll actually see Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader suit for this coming series. And that seems to be kind of hinted at by not only the questions asked, but the way Ewan McGregor answered it. But there's another interesting update to this story about how he says the costume is a little bit different. This, I think, is meant to say it's different than it was when he was playing the character originally, and this seems to confirm a long-standing fan rumor that we would see Obi-Wan Kenobi in his Clone Wars armor messing around during the time of the Clone Wars show. Again, nothing totally confirmed there, but pretty freaking cool to talk about. And lastly, one of the interesting things that he said was on May the 4th, last Tuesday, Ewan McGregor was shooting something on set with a very special person, someone that's very special to him, and it's really exciting and fans are really going to love it. So what I think that is Hayden Christensen. I know he gets follow-up asked that sort of by Jimmy about that, and he seems to downplay it. But I had heard rumors that on May the 4th, they were going to do a crazy scene with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen fighting or doing something like that with like a Vader Obi-Wan rematch. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of fun in this interview with Ewan McGregor. Nothing really confirmed other than the fact that he's on set, he's shooting. The costume's different than he remembers, and he did shoot some kind of really crazy scene on May the 4th. But there's a lot of rumor swirling around this show, and it's cool to see him say some things that tend to track with some of the rumors we've been talking about. I generally think that the Kenobi series is a massive deal for Star Wars, and bringing Hayden Christensen back is such a clutch move. And I'm just really excited to see them sort of go back potentially to the prequel era with some of these flashbacks and things like that. So in a world where we didn't get a ton of crazy announcements ourselves during May the 4th last week, and in a world where Star Wars fans are divided and there's just not a lot of great news to grab onto, it was fan-freaking-tastic to get Kenobi himself talking about the show, telling us how excited he is about it, giving us a little bit of tease here and there with some breadcrumbs, and then having fans be able to fill in some of those gaps and speculate about what could be coming in the Kenobi series. So we wanted to touch on those comments with you. What do you think he meant by the costume being differently? Do you think he's nervous about spoiling stuff and didn't want to talk about Vader being in the show? And who do you think the special person was that he shot the scene with on May the 4th? Let us know your thoughts about that story. And of course, all the stuff going on with the Black Widow movie and David Harbour teasing that out. Let us know your thoughts about all of that and more in the comment section below. Make sure you check out the live streaming channel and come on by if you have questions about any of the stories we talked about today. It's always a good time over there at the Den of Nerds Live. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.